Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for February 10th. February 10th is the 41st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 324 days remaining to the end of the year, unless it's a leap year, in which case there are 325 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is vapid. Vapid is an adjective that means lacking flavor, zest, interest, animation, or spirit. Flat, dull, like a gossipy, vapid woman obsessed with her own elegance. This word comes to us from a Latin word that meant having lost freshness or gone flat. First known use of the word vapid is around 1656. Vapid. And with that, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert got married on February 10th, 1840. This is the birthday of Russian poet, novelist, and literary translator Boris Pasternak, born February 10, 1890. Perhaps best known as the author of Dr. Zhivago, he lived to the age of 70. Texas Tech University was founded as Texas Technological College in Lubbock, Texas on February 10, 1923. Go Red Raiders! Tom and Jerry made their cartoon debut with Puss Gets the Boot on February 10, 1940. And golly, weren't we just talking about Laura Ingalls Wilder just the other day? It is that on February 10, 1957, she died at the age of 90. And by the way, did you know that she didn't publish her first book until after she was 60? Sure glad she did, though. Laura Ingalls Wilder. There was a spy swap on February 10, 1962. American spy pilot Francis Gary Powers was exchanged for senior KGB spy Rudolf Abel at a border checkpoint between East and West Germany at 8:52 a.m. Berlin time. The 25th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified on February 10, 1967. This is the one that deals with issues related to presidential succession and disability. It clarifies that the vice president becomes president as opposed to simply acting as president if the president should die, resign, or be removed from office, and it established the procedures for filling a vacancy in the office of vice president and for responding to presidential disabilities. Interesting that we were just talking about this very sort of thing just yesterday with William Henry Harrison. I guess I'm a little surprised that it took them until 1967 to get the procedure codified, but there you go. Wheels of progress grind slowly sometimes. On February 10, 1972, Ziggy Stardust made his earthly debut. An androgynous character, Ziggy Stardust was played by David Bowie, a bold move, and it really set David Bowie on his way. On February 10, 1996, a computer beat the world chess champion. It was the IBM computer called Deep Blue, capable of evaluating 200 million moves per second, versus world chess champion Garry Kasparov. Fortunately, it was game 1 out of a 6-game match, so Garry won 3 and tied 2, which gave him the match, and he ended up winning the $400,000 prize. Was something of a phenomenon at the time because an estimated 6 million people worldwide followed the action on the internet. Iconic child star Shirley Temple died at the age of 85 on February 10, 2014. Today's song is Love is Blue by Paul Mauriat and his orchestra. Written by André Pop and Pierre Coeur in 1967, the song was originally performed by a 17-year-old artist named Vicki Leandros for the 1967 Eurovision contest. Late in 1967, Paul Mauriat recorded it as an easy-listening instrumental. Word is he wasn't wild about it, but he did it anyway, and a DJ in Minneapolis played it and asked his audience for their input. They loved it, and they weren't the only ones. The song quickly spread across the country, hitting the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 on February 10, 1968, for the first of 5 weeks. Love is Blue by Paul Mauriat. Links to both Paul Mauriat's instrumental and Vicki Leandros Eurovision versions are available in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include the link to my blog page that is called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Do not disturb.
Okay, I turned Do Not Disturb on.
Good job. January 2nd, the 16th. It's all written in Roman numerals, so I had to translate it. Hopefully I got that pronunciation close. Yeah, Annie's ready to go. Flinging happiness all over the place. All right, back to work.